The UDCT Alumni Association has taken an initiative to invite their alumni, and they have been coming from 14th February. We have begun this journey, and you are all aware that the UDCT Alumni Association is the only association in the country. It is the official alumni network of prestigious The Institute of Chemical Technology, formerly known as UDCT, that is University Department of Chemical Technology. This institute was established with the vision of bringing lifelong connections. The associations bring together the generations of graduation from diverse fields, including chemical engineering, biotechnology, pharmaceuticals, food technology, textile. So, Anna Vastra Nivara, the three basic necessity of life, it starts with that. And over the year, this association has evolved into a very, very vibrant global community of professionals, entrepreneurs, researchers, and industry leaders. So, this institute was established only with one objective: to serve the society, to serve the industry, to serve the population of the country, and now of the world. So it is this association strengthens the bond between alumni and their alma mater, creates a structured platform for engaging their alumni, as well as bringing the collaboration and contribution. While alumni connections existed informally for decades, the association was institutionalized to organize these efforts and expand its impact globally. So, the core purpose of UDCT Alumni Association is to build a strong and connected alumni network across the world. It supports the professional growth of students and alumni. This association has been doing a lot of things for their students as well as alumni, being it supporting financially for their education, or donating a lot of fund to create the laboratories at the Institute of Chemical Technology. Also to contribute to the development of ICT through mentorship, funding, as well as collaboration, and encourage innovation, entrepreneurship, and knowledge sharing. So you get, if you want to join the UDCT Alumni Association, you can visit our website. You get access to a vast network of accomplished alumni working in top industries, starting from Reliance to many other multinational industries, startups, and research institutions worldwide. You will also get a very good career and mentorship opportunity. The association actively supporting students for getting their job, also young professionals who want to shift their job from one place to another. So this network helps a lot. There are a lot of mentorship programs. UDCT Alumni Association has also organized a lot of certificate courses, and that runs on every Saturday for the students. There is a lot of career guidance and industry exposure that the UA has taken with initiatives like entrepreneurship series, the one that happens on every Saturday at 11 a.m. UA helps aspiring founders connect with experienced entrepreneurs, investors, and mentors. So this is like, it provides a platform to contribute. So thank you, Prajakta, for taking out time from your busy schedule. We are really, really grateful that you agreed to come on this platform and share your very, very inspiring journey. So it is an absolute pleasure on behalf of my own as well as UDCT Alumni Association's behalf to welcome you, a visionary leader who have beautifully bridges the world of science, sustainability, and entrepreneurship. So Dr. Prajakta Insulkar is a distinguished biotechnologist, a very, very passionate microbiologist, a very, very interdisciplinary background, who has successfully transitioned from academic research to building a purposeful startup. Yes, you heard it rightly. Very, very purposeful startup. As the founder of Kalpavruksha, as the name itself, Kalpavruksha 360, she's pioneering a zero waste, a sustainable focused approach to coconut processing, transforming a underutilized natural resource into a very, very innovative, health centric, and environmentally responsible products. So we are so proud that she is ICT's alumni, PhD from Institute of Chemical Technology, and a very, very strong foundation in scientific research. Dr. Prajakta is redefining how this traditional knowledge of Kalpavruksha, and she has combining these two traditional knowledge and modern science. She has proven that these two knowledge can come together to create a scalable solution. So basically, her work focuses on clean label nutrition, plant based innovation, and circular economy models. That areas have been on top priority by UNESCO amongst the 17 sustainable development goals. I'm sure most of these goals are in line with her work. So today she joins us to share her very, very inspiring journey from science to startup building a sustainable innovation. So she's going to offer us a valuable insights into identifying real world problem, building impactful solution. Friends, it is not at all easy to come out of a comfort zone into an uncomfort zone and creating a huge world. So, Prajakta, we are really, really grateful to you that you agreed to share your journey. I know that it is not at all easy. Every student nowadays, and that too after completion of PhD, you want to typically work for somebody else and get salaried after every month, because you don't have to work. But here you have created a job for many out there. You are running houses for many out there. So very, very courageous, and that too being a woman, it is not very easy. That too, till still today in India, it is not easy. I know that there is so much in the background. There is so much force that you have, that you started your own entrepreneur business. So thank you so much, and we are very, very excited to hear you, Prajakta, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Shalini ma'am. Thank you for the platform and also for the such a warm welcome. Yes. So, and also, you in the beginning itself have touched very sensitive topics. You said about you being a PhD and then you start. Yes, that's a challenge. Secondly, you also said being a woman, you start at a very adverse or probably not so welcoming age, or even being a woman itself is a challenge
Big
because your
challenge.
family doesn't understand why you are doing what you're doing.
And as a
So
female, we have a lot of multitasking role. You have to take care of family. Still,
exactly.
women's role is considered as a caregiver.
Yeah,
So we
and
are
when you leave a very well established, well earning job, and then you want to get into something where you won't be earning at all, probably for some period of time, and then you build up slowly. And obviously, the growth will be exponential and everything, but that's definitely the matter of concern when you are already at a certain stage. Then you are leaving a job that too you have worked for 7, 8 years after PhD, because PhD itself takes, longer period of your life. And then, so yes, definitely, you already have touched upon very sensitive topics, which I probably would have talked about when I will share my journey here. Yes. Thank you once again, ma'am. So, hello everyone. Good morning to all of you, and thank you so much for joining the session, and even thank you in advance to everyone who is going to listen to this session later on the online platforms, okay, or the digital media, social media, everywhere. First of all, I will thank you, the UAA and Shalini ma'am, and everybody who is attached, even Tushar, who is like attached with this particular program. Okay, so very heartfelt thank you. With that, I would like to begin the session. Okay. Okay, ma'am. Should we start? Yeah. Okay. So today I have taken this the theme you which you can see, like, from science to startup. That is my journey. I probably will not be able to touch upon all the areas which are related to my journey, but how science students, if there are science students in this particular journey, then I would like them to know that yes, it is possible, kind of a thing. So even if I can do that with this journey, I think my purpose will suffice for this particular, session. Yeah. So let me go ahead with this. Yeah. First of all, the hook or dilemma we all have, you being science or probably the other disciplinary students as well, you probably sometimes have too much passion towards something. You want to do something. You just do not know what it is, but you want to have something of your own. Should I do job? Should I not? Or I do not have a business background. That kind of questions we have. What if I fail? What is the kind of the consequences, family, social, personal, like consequences that I will fail, I will face? And then I don't wish to do the job, but I don't have any idea for the business. These are very different types of questions that I'm very much sure that every one of you must have touched at some or the other point of your life. Okay, not all, but at least some of them will definitely resonate with you. These were the few questions which I started my journey when I completed my masters. I joined a job because I did not want my PhD to be done without any stipend. I did not have that much of patience that I will only study without money. So I did job before my PhD. I did job in corporate specifically after my PhD. I have total of 7 to 8 years of experience in my journey in different types of corporates and businesses. Okay, so these were the questions which I had in my mind. I always, after completing my masters and before joining PhD, I had masters dissertation in BRC. So in that dissertation itself, I had decided two things, that I want to go for PhD first, and second is I would like to do something related to waste management. I had my inclination. That is what I why I understood in that period, that I had an inclination towards waste management, sustainability, which is a global problem. It's the problem of today's world, that there is so much of waste issues. Like we have so many different type of global problem. One of them is waste management and sustainability. So that was a problem that we had. I had decided, okay, I would like to do something that was there in the background of my mind. I was doing my studies. I was working in research. I even started doing my job. Every time this particular thing was there in my background of my brain. That's it. Then, what happened is during my job, as I said, I had two simple observations done in my research and even in my job. First, in research, I found it very intensely that whatever research we do, it is always mostly confined to our thesis. It doesn't get implemented in the real time world. Whatever 4, 5, 6 years of our very enthusiastic life, our young life, that we can do something better, we spend that in the research, which probably doesn't get the place in the real world. We do not get to show it, like, what have you done? So that was a gap between research and the real world that I found at that time. Secondly, that was a reason why, while doing job, I decided to understand the different dynamics of the company. Okay, since I did not have a business background and I always wanted to have something of my own, I and since you are from middle class family, you definitely cannot choose whatever you want immediately. You definitely give it a thorough thought. You want stability, you want something to be taken care first at your family, at your personal level, and then you can think of other things. But though I took a job, I made it a point that I will take that job in a way which will get me out of my comfort zone. And secondly, it will give me the understanding of company, company as a whole. Okay, that was the purpose. So even with the stability, I wanted to have that purpose. I wanted to fulfill my purpose. So my journey continued, and then there was a turning phase when COVID hit us 6 years back in 2019. That time I got some period of time to work from home. Before that, since I was in the field as well as office job together combined, hybrid job it was. Um, I never got work from home. But during this COVID period, when I got work from home, I got some time to think. And then I felt somewhere I should start. Somewhere there should be some beginning. Though I will not leave my job immediately, or I'm not, going to quit everything and go for the business immediately. But I would like to have some start, and there should be some point where I can think, like what I would like to work upon at the end. So that's where the turning phase came, when I started slowly reading online news, which we most of the time fail to hear or read. Then news is something just, moving around. Wherever I go, I became observant. What kind of things would I like to do? That kind of thing started having. It's never a one day job. It's never one day thing. It took quite a time when I saw this. And then there was one simple observation from my side. Right now I'm like, restricting myself to Kalpavriksha 360 only, because otherwise the session will go very haywire. I had three ideas in my mind on which I would like to work, out of which waste management was the most appealing. So I went ahead with this. Okay. So when I started having that observation around myself, I am from Konkan region, from Savantwadi. Whenever I used to visit my place, every year we go to Ganpati and Holi, and even in May vacation. So it was a common observation that though we have ample of production of coconut, we do not utilize it to that extent. Even in the market, we do not get coconut. Here in Mumbai, we do not get coconut which are coming from Savantwadi or Konkan region. We normally have coconuts from Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and everything. That was my first observation. After that, when I went deep, when this journey started, I went deep into that idea which I had observed many years back, or I was observing for many years. I went back and saw, like, what all things are really there. Is it really a problem? Why we being so near to the to Mumbai, Maharashtra and metropolitan cities, why our coconut doesn't come to our place, and why does it come from the far situated states like Kerala and Tamil Nadu, or even Karnataka for that matter? So the real reason came into picture, like we are not so much aware of that kind of business, or we have not explored coconut in that aspect, how we can turn it into a business. That was one first observation. After that, there were many. The way I said, after getting that idea that I want to start somewhere, my first step was towards this observation. My first step was looking for some course or something which will give me some assurity that okay, I have some idea of the business. Since I'm a first generation entrepreneur, since I'm not from business background at all, everybody in my family is either engineer, doctor, or architecture, or somewhere in this field only, relevant fields only. I had no idea of the business. So I decided to join some certification program, or if that really is required, then MBA for that matter. That is a time when I came across few certifications which were offered by Symbiosis Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, which is a incubation of Symbiosis. They were offering certification programs in design thinking, mind to market strategy, world empowerment program, like women empowerment development programs. And then in that period, I joined it. In my work from home, I joined those programs. And then the journey began. Somewhere you just have to take that one action, one step towards your thinking. See, till then, there was no idea that what I am going to work upon. This was just one observation at that time. Along with that, I had so many other observations also. I'm just highlighting this one while I'm telling you my journey. So that was one thing which I decided कि no, go ahead, कुछ तो करना है. If not doing MBA, then I will go for this. That is the place where I got. Before that, I did not even know there is there is some concept called as incubator. I had no idea. For me, being a biotechnologist or a microbiologist, incubator is somewhere the microorganisms are incubated for their growth at 37 or 50 or 25-degree temperature. That's it. So with that journey, I dwell upon, and then I got to know more about incubators. Then I personally visited there in my work from home time period, and when there was little bit of relaxation in the journey, when the restriction was little bit relaxed, at that time I went to Pune. I decided to visit the place. I met over there, like the CEO, the other professors who were working at that time, Yogesh sir, Ismail sir, and then I got to know more about it. After that, when I entered the startup world, it was a first kick. I would say it was a first kick, first feeling that, okay, I am at the right place. And with that, my pre-incubation journey at Symbiosis began. Over there, the place was so full of positivity and so full of helping nature that people told me, it's okay if you have no, people come here with to us with no idea at all. Okay, they just have passion towards doing something and they just want to do something of their own. Even that is a good stage when you can visit right mentor, you can visit right incubator for yourself, I would say. So at that place I got the help of the mentors and I refined my ideas. So after 2 3 out of 2 3 ideas, one got narrowed down. uh, Please note, I mean, I had not paid a single penny to these people till then. Okay, I got this totally free of cost from them. And then uh, I decided like I want to go ahead with coconut. Now, why coconut? I briefly will share my viewpoint on it, like because it is versatile. I am tremendously attracted towards coconut like anything right from my childhood, because it is the only fruit, according to me. It is the only fruit which, I mean, for my knowledge, it is the only fruit on entire earth which has actually drinkable water, which was fascinating to me always. I mean, there is watermelon, there are other fruits which has 80%, 90%, 90% 99% water as well. But coconut is the only water on earth which has got directly drinkable water, which always attracted me towards it. And culturally also it is important. As you know, our Indian ancient proficiency call coconut as Kalpavriksha, that is tree of life. So from head to toe, it is useful for us. And that itself was very much attracting factor, that out of so many hundreds and thousands of plant, only coconut has got that leverage to be called as kalpavriksha, the tree of life. And yet the observation was, though coconut is present everywhere, it is worshipped everywhere, it is respected everywhere, it is not utilized everywhere, or it is utilized to a very uh, restricted forms. Okay, like South and all, they will have it in the culinaries and somewhere in the oil forms or something like that. But otherwise, north, east, west, they are north and west, they will hardly utilize. Even in the metropolitan cities like Mumbai and Pune, if you will see being coconut being used, mostly it is restricted to the healthy people's diet, morning fruit, or the people who are there on bed, hospital bed, we will take them coconut. So that was a very restricted use, and simultaneously the consequence was it's underutilization. Since we did not know how to utilize coconut tree completely, we were not paying attention enough, and that's why it was underutilized. Then I searched more into my approach, like seriously, is that a problem big enough? Over here I would like to take your attention towards a very small thing which is taught in entrepreneurship. There is no randomness in business. As far as the startup is concerned, there is no randomness. You do not just jump into it. You actually go step by step. You understand you understand your passion, you understand the depth of it, and then you enter into the feeling of being an entrepreneur, only the feeling of entrepreneur. After that, you start searching what is the field that you are totally passionate about, what is that field that you would like to work upon for next 10 years. See, no business works for all the 50 or 60 years of your life. Okay, you probably will work on it for some period of time and then you will divert yourself in the same region or in the different region as well. But the as far as I'm discussing is the entrepreneurial journey that you start. So you observe the problem, the way there are so many startups right now around us. There is Ola, Uber, Rapido, Zomato, Swiggy, everybody. They have observed some problem. Then they decided what kind of solution can be taken. And then they implemented it. So there is a very structural way of going towards your startup. It's never random. Okay, you understand that is called as in entrepreneurial book. You it will be it has different types of terminologies. Like when you do your research, it is your market research online or offline. What you want to do. Secondly, when you think, okay, Baba, I would like to do these many four, five things. So out of that, you decide your problem statement. In that, you analyze with the different methodologies, like what is my problem really big enough to be converted into a business? With those analysis, you get your answers, yes and no. After that, you decide, like, how much there will be some solution to the problem. You will come across 8, 10 different kind of solutions. Though there are 8, 10 different solutions, you either only there is a potential only in one or two solutions which can be converted into business. So that's what you do. And after that, you then form your tree of how you want to go ahead towards that particular solution that you have figured out for the problem that you are solving. That's the journey which I also took care of. I did the research right from the Asiatic Library in Mumbai. From the word sea, there was sea for coconut. From there, I started reading. And then I went to other different libraries and different Ayurveda books and knowing the field, actual what is happening in the coconut industry in India and abroad. Okay, so that's how my journey began with different organizations, government of India's organizations which are working with coconut industry, and then coir, then coconut shell, water, meat, every part of it. And there were training programs available for every part of it, which I took. Okay, to understand the basics. See, though I'm PhD in biotechnology, I'm not PhD in coconut. So my first approach was to know in and out of what getting it myself into. So that was my first idea. Like, what am I getting myself into? Then uh, then with that, the real journey started. When I went over there, the first, I will say, entrepreneurial task which I did was when I went over there for training in Kerala for around 1 or 2 months. Then at that time, I went to market, I went to villages, was and went to the local artisans. I developed my own network of artisans over there, and which was out of curriculum. I had gone only for the training. Nobody knew me over there. I was just a student. I mean, and a corporate employee at that time. I was still working. By the way, I didn't leave my job. And then understanding the, real ecosystem, on ground connections. That was my first thing which I did. I did not know how much good or bad I did, but that is the thing that you have to do. So that happened. After I completed it, I was still in contact, continuously in contact with all the mentors over here at Symbiosis. Then I got incubated and started with handicraft work, though it was not the preliminary or major part of the Kalpavriksha 360. I started with that handicrafts network. We started dealing into, I started joining different exhibitions, different talks which were happening across Pune, and started selling. Sell was my one of my mentor told me, however good scientist you are, however good student you are, you will have to come out of your comfort zone because you are always there in the lab or probably in the office in technical jobs, whatever I was doing in the office. By God grace, I got a job where I had to train the sales team also. So I could, groom myself a little. But otherwise, most of the scientists are always comfortable not talking to anybody, not coming in front. So that was one ceiling which I had to break and which I have break till now. I'm working on it, but I have broken it considerably now that I can go in front of people, I can talk about my startup, I can tell them what I'm doing, I can sell also my product, I can sell them. One of the very resonating definition which I would like to tell you all guys here is, which is given by my mentor, what is selling. People find it very uncomfortable or very, what to say, come level ka job, you can say, selling. No, but selling is actually the backbone of the company, any company. I can say that because now I have my own, obviously. So, selling is the backbone of the company. There are hardly handful of people who are good sailors in our India, though having 120 billion of population. This job is tremendous. Okay, so I started selling my products over there in exhibitions, and then this struggle continued. Now I knew that I have to come out of my comfort zone, do some activity. I probably will go back to my shelter with the discomfort that I am facing, the ambiguity that I am facing, but I will still continue doing that. So from scientist to salesperson, coming out comfort zone, breaking that every single day. There is discomfort in many things, because in your company you are from sweeper, from cleaning person to the owner of the company. You are the only person everywhere in the beginning. Obviously afterwards you start having people, but in the beginning, for a few months or a year, you are one woman show or one man show. So you may have discomfort in talking to vendors. You will have discomfort in going to the different markets where you are searching for your products, raw material. Anything can be a discomfort, and you have to break that each and every day. So that's, but again, I told you, you have to learn, unlearn what you have done, and then learn again, and then adapt to the new situations. you know so that's the roller coaster, that's the journey, that complete uncertainty, but again some certainty. In that uncertainty you find out, and then you go ahead. So that was my transition phase. I mean, in last 3 years, what I have learned till now is that from knowledge, it is important to execute. From lab, it is important to go to market. And from thinking, the most important thing is to go towards doing, actually doing. Okay. So that was my transition phase. So till now, what we have built today is I'm work in progress always. So I'm working upon creating a zero waste coconut ecosystem. uh, right now my product is ready with the healthy fats, the which is based on coconut milk, and it is a procedure, and the product has gone for patenting, and soon I am bringing the product to the market. It is already there in market for testing. Sample testing is already started, and bringing the product for selling also soon, ASAP. Have already started with the handicrafts work, which currently will be taken care by somebody else, because this is again my one lesson. When you start, don't start with 10 different things. Only one thing at a time, because you are alone. So focus on it, give your complete energy to it, understand in and out of that, and give your 100% towards give your 100% to bring that product or that service, whatever it is. Business is either in two forms, it is either service or a product. So bring it to the level where it can sustain on its own, and then go to the your next step. So though I began with handicrafts for my own experience to come out of my comfort zone, and then I went into my my core value, that is my healthy fats. That is my first product. Obviously, there are two, three in pipeline, but I won't be taking that out unless this product gets its own place in the market. I will see to it that how it is happening. Okay. And then clean label, like innovations that we are working upon. I'm saying to it that bigger vision, obviously, for Kalpavriksha 360. I'm saying to that we utilize the resources fully. As Shalini ma'am very rightfully said, it is one of the UNESCO's goals, 17 goals, that utilize the commodity in at your place to the 100% potential. I mean, once you know what purpose you are driving, it should become your way of life. And if my purpose is to build a circular economy, or to reduce waste, or to utilize the resource fully, then I have to take one step towards my journey. So what I am doing currently, in whatever small way I can do, but I am utilizing my products waste also in complete way. Okay. I'm giving it, even if I am using only meat, I see to it that the water will be distributed amongst the required people. Then the coconut shell goes to the respected people who can convert it into something else. And then the rest of the garbage only goes to the place where it can be treated organically. So that is a very small way of circular economy that I am following currently. But that is only going to that is a way of life that I should have. If I am going for reducing the waste, then I should also stop creating garbage on the road. So I think, and this was there in me from childhood. I was always passionate towards keeping clean. I know we are PhDs or masters or anybody, but we do not think twice before throwing a wafer, like, wafers. Uh, uh, um, I mean, we eat the wafers and then the wrapper we throw in a train or on the platform itself or something like that. So I think that way I have never done. I always used to keep it. I used to fold it, keep it in my bag even when I was student in school. My mom and dad used to scold me like anything. Why do you bring that garbage at home? You can throw it. But it's like, I'm not going to throw it on the road. I will throw it in the like, dustbin which is there at my place. I could not find a dustbin on my way home. So I have brought it home. So that was the awareness probably which was there in me. Always I was sensitive towards it.
உமா
And slowly
டக்குன்னு
and
கிளம்பு.
steadily I'm building towards this.
அப்புறம் அதுக்கப்புறம்
Is
காலை இட்லியை சாப்பிட்டு அப்புறம் சாப்பிட முடியலன்ட்டு மதியானம் ஆச்சு.
Okay. So that was what the bigger vision is all about. So for me, I would say my key learnings, I'm saying, see, everybody, every entrepreneur who will come on this journey will have their own key learnings, okay, which I would like to share with you all. They will probably resonate with you 10%, 20%, 80%, or probably 100%. But take that resonating things with you. So for me, I would say my key learnings are you don't need clarity in the beginning. Okay. First of all, don't be scared. Come out of your traditional paths of thinking that no, this is not my cup of tea. It is nobody's cup of tea in the beginning, frankly speaking. Everybody make it happen. So if you have passion towards, working and having something of your own, meaningful, though it is small. I'm not asking that everybody should leave their job and go for business. No, for everyone, considering their social, financial, family responsibility, it is not possible. But always have that dream alive in your brain. Let it click and tick the clock, in your brain. Build a network simultaneously and your capability simultaneously to bring it to the liveliness. उसको जिंदा रखने के लिए कुछ तो करते रहना चाहिए हमेशा. तो do the research, do simultaneous things. Even if you have a passion to, make earrings and want to bring it into the business, but then make earrings and sell it to your friends or somebody. I'm just giving a very vague example, but that's what my friend is doing because that is why it came to my mind. She is a teacher and she just delivered her second baby. She was there on some leave, and that's in that period she decided ki it was always her like her feeling that she wants to wear very different kinds of earrings, and she had that liking towards it. Within those 5 6 months when she was there at home, she developed this business. So there are so many things that we love, we have passion towards. So build something towards that simultaneously in your life when you are doing job. Second, the key learning for me is exposure is everything. Your best teacher is exposure. Go and stand in front of that challenge. There is no other way to learn. You will fail. See, for this particular session, I created Byte for the first time. The first thing, because till now, whenever I have taken sessions, I work as a visiting faculty to Symbiosis for teaching entrepreneurship or anywhere, wherever I have gone for sessions. Right now, I'm like, closing all those things because I have to put entire attention towards this. But I had never created Bytes. I just had to give my resume, I just have to give my photo, and rest of the things, though, the people are managing. But first time, I had to give the Byte for my session. So it was very, in the beginning, I was scared. I made it very bad. Tushar told me, can you make it little bit better? And I took help of my husband and then I made it. So I guess that is always learning. Every day is a learning. So start small, but start is the another learning that I would say. And science definitely can become a business. Believe in it. Believe in it. If you are a science student, believe in it that the science can become a business. If we are thorough about what we are doing, there are so many out there who do not have idea what they are making. In this field, I would. Though we are this is the end of the session. Last 5 minutes, I would like to take your 5 minutes in telling you this, that there are so many people who are making anything but selling. There are products which are harmful to our health. We still drink it, we still eat it, and those are being advertised by very renowned people in the society. Okay, just because those are made and those are being marketed well. So if you have some sensible idea or sensible passion towards working on making a meaningful impact or creating a meaningful impact on something, you are more than enough qualified for going and taking this one step ahead towards your journey in entrepreneurship. Secondly, entrepreneurship is a journey and it is a mindset. It's not that tomorrow you will have your own business, everyone will have their own business, but see to it that you develop this entrepreneurial mindset and go to your job also. Be the employee that you would like to you would like to hire. Be the employee who you would like to hire in your company. If you would have had your own company, what kind of a person you would like to hire for yourself? Be that one. Okay. Third, our journey, where even if you are a BTech student or MTech student or PhD student and you are immediately going to enter into the real world for doing job, see and understand that one thing, that there are not going to be ideal jobs around us. Okay. This is our journey, which is a very long journey. It is a journey of our life. So if you have got one job, but understand one thing, that the clarity should be there in your mind, what you want to work upon, what you want to do, and then you will start your journey on that path. So if your journey is to get the X position or X field and want to make your career in that segment, and if you get a job, even a small executive job in that field, your job is 10% done. What you have to do is give your 100% in that position. Don't go behind fancy things in the beginning. Develop yourself with as much as practical experience. Go to for internship. Go to small projects. Um, go to anybody who can give you the real time experience in the industries. Be available for all the kinds of adaptability in the business, all the kind of ambiguity in the business, and learn through it. Once you are ready, you will get the opportunity and you will go ahead and you will enjoy that journey. Uh, as you will, enjoy each and every day in each and every position, whichever you get along your path. So that would be my, closing statement from my side. Ki, you know, be authentic, be you, and just do it. Don't get scared of AI. Don't be scared of ambiguity. Uh, breathe at that time. Even if you are feeling confused, anything, breathe just one step ahead and you will be fine. So, so thank you. Ma'am, over to you. Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. Friends,
Mm.
let me tell you, I had seen Prajakta, a very, very calm, and she will speak very little, only, focused person. And now I see what kind of concentrated energy she restored to give you tada. Wow. Wow, Prajakta. I am just, getting
Thank
goosebumps
you.
after hearing your lovely, lovely story. A young girl who was, calmly observing everything around her, from Konkan, you observed what is happening in Konkan during that holiday time. So sometimes the most powerful idea I felt like don't begin from boardroom or from laboratories. They begin from your childhood memories.
True, ma'am. And at that time, I had no idea that I'm ever going to have business in this field. Ever, ever. Not a slightest
Even
idea. Yeah.
Konkan, very beautiful. Sawantwadi is like wow. Whenever last few months ago only I visited Konkan and I was thinking, wow, people are so good. They are so grounded, so humble. So I was thinking like that training you have got from childhood only. You have that goodness, and that is why you naturally got attracted there so smoothly, so naturally. The one who thinks about the nature, automatically the nature also supports. So young Konkani girl, observe sometimes most of us would overlook abundance turning into waste. Wow, 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 wow. So
Thank
surrounded by
you.
coconut trees, the coconut is considered as one of the, as you said rightly, the biggest magic. So many nutrients. If you are feeling dizzy, just drink coconut water. Amino acids, peptides, you will get instant, good amino acids, peptides, vitamins, easy sugars. You just name that
True.
nutrient, and that God has kept that nutrients protected there. And you noticed how large quantity of coconuts and their byproducts are going and underutilized. Yes, you rightly said, in south, Kerala, they have done so much good. So many businesses are running successfully, but Konkani people, our Maharashtrian or Marathi people, they, I think, scientists like you are like a god. And you have converted a like really mind blowing Prajakta.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Here, I would like to really mention, though we are the third largest country for coconut production, and
Mm,
Thailand and Sri Lanka, Vietnam, those people have explored coconut like anything. They are the largest people who are contributing into the export market compared to India. But we really have a lot to learn from them as well. They have coconut everywhere. If you will visit their malls, you will know the coconut. Even there is coconut perfume, there is coconut mosquito repellent stages, and what not. You will see coconut pickle, coconut, many things, many things. You just name it, and that it's there. It's there.
and when that
So
will come,
yes.
Prajakta, so when that day will come in India, where we are utilizing every minute. So right now, traditionally, we have been using coconut only for maybe coconut vadi or eating coconut. Or in India, we have we consider coconut as auspicious, so we break the coconut in front of God, and we consider it as an auspicious beginning of our life. So apart from that, I think and coconut oil, and then right now coconut meal also goes directly in the waste. So what gaps in the market or in India particularly you are trying to address through, and when that day will come in India, what do you think?
I think the journey has already started. I won't say the way I told you. I am one of the person who is working on it. There are thousands out there, hundreds out there who are working and doing their job. I believe there is never a competition when it's the same segment. There is a collective efforts toward reaching a goal.
Okay.
So there is no competition. So when I am working, somebody else is working, and then those small steps will eventually create an impact. That's what we need to learn. I guess Ayurveda had given us that knowledge very long back, but within the some period of time, when in this commercialization and industrialization, we have lost the touch of Ayurveda and what is written in our books. Okay,
Mhm.
but somebody else take the efforts actually. Somebody else from the outside countries read that and take efforts and get it done. And then we
Mhm.
go there and then we find, okay, that exists. That is very nice because now that has been done by the developed countries person. So that happens many a times. I think I will need another session to tell
Yes,
you
definitely,
how
Prajakta.
interestingly people have taken even small things from India and they are making patent out of it and so many things are happening. But yes, it's a journey that probably have have rooted itself for its first few steps, and now it's a long journey that we will have to see.
Prajakta, we will definitely invite you officially, in our office personally. I mean, physically, so that you interact in ICT. UA also runs other courses like chemical technology management, and I'm sure you were part of it. So you are doing a great job. So, friends, I want
Thank
to
you.
tell that
Ma'am, Kuldeepak has raised his hand if that person
yeah,
wants
I
to
am going to
ask.
take the
Yeah.
questions,
Ha, ha,
and
ha.
people
Okay.
have posted some questions. So I will take those questions. So I will ask
Okay.
definitely Pradeep also to
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Sorry,
unmute
ma'am. I
and
just thought I will
speak.
let you know. Yeah.
So thank you so much for that question. So I just wanted to ask, you said the sustainability, and you shared also from your childhood also you thought. So how this sustainability is important in today's startup ecosystem. We it is very interesting that from the beginning, whosoever has come in US Saturday series, most of them are working. So it's a very very good change that today's young budding entrepreneurs are thinking, and their most important priority is sustainability. So do you think that today's startup ecosystem is always scalable?
Um, According to me, yes, sustainability has a long way. It is a very powerful field. Rather than powerful field, it's a need of time, ma'am. It's the need of time. The way we say the destruction is already been made by us only. And if we really want to survive, we have to give back so that we can see a better future. So this is our but this is at a very long or a broad way I'm saying. Apart
Okay.
from that, if the practicality, I have to tell you, sustainability right now is living in each and every segment that we are working into. People are sensible towards it. If you have heard about the sustainable fashion, if it is a sustainable fashion in which now people are going for the polymer which is not made out of coconut but out of different polymers, like hemp, or the even for that matter, coconut is under research, the coir is under research for being used in it. So hemp
Hmm.
is being used for making that polymer. In those sustainable fashion, people are not using dyes, the chemically made dyes. They are using organic colors which will not go back to the nature and will harm the nature. So that kind of a traditional fashion is also coming in that buttons. I mean, one of my product was coconut shell buttons when I started in the beginning last year. So in that sustainable fashion, when there is button to know, and not, I mean, our not dresses and all or shirts, they are using either wood buttons or even coconut shell buttons. They are not using plastic buttons.
Okay.
So this is such a small thing that people are taking care of. Even if we see different kind of I would say uh, eating patterns. People who are going for the eating patterns, they also now even the generation we call Gen Z, but that generation is also taking care of their health. Like they are very much conscious about what they are eating. There are lactose intolerant people who are now going towards the plant options. So there are many other products also which people wants to go for vegetarian options rather than going for animal based products. So
Okay.
for my journey itself, I got to know that there are so many lactose intolerant in India. I was not at all aware. Since childhood, we are always been told that drink milk in the morning. But there are so many, more than 40% people in India are lactose intolerant and we are not even aware of it.
True,
So
true, true.
those people
That
cannot have
number.
those
Hmm.
options, so they are going towards tofu or some other related things. So definitely sustainability has its role and people are slowly becoming aware. Obviously change is never easy to adopt. It's going to be gradual. More of an awareness is required. But yes, there definitely is a way and scope towards that.
I heard from your talk what you preach, you practice from childhood, not just throwing, one simple plastic pouch after eating that chips. That's a very very big change, Prajakta. Thank you so much for starting this amazing clean label. So you said that you have these minimally processed food products also including, and recently you have entered into food businesses also, and coconut is considered as one of the most nutritious food product. So do you find, and you are also a food microbiologist and work in food related product, so do you think there are a lot of challenges that you face when you handle such highly nutritious product, and are there any challenges that you face, like microbiologically, consideration that you have to think about when you are making the food products from coconut?
I think challenges is the word which is attached to each and every step. I mean, each and every organ of our body. I would say. So, yes, challenges are definitely there when we are in manufacturing. I mean, I had heard one of the CA session on YouTube where they were telling the importance of getting into manufacturing businesses in India rather than trading. Why you should enter into manufacturing? They were giving some, I don't remember the name of the lady. She was a CA, and she was UPSC qualified. And then she was giving that session. And at that time, she had told why India should enter into most of the manufacturing businesses, how China is empowering, things, and what is the main reason behind it. So in that aspect, I would say manufacturing, though it is in any field, is never going to be easy. Yes, it
Mm.
requires a lot of thorough knowledge and manufacturing, if it is in food, contamination, keeping it clean, and then, sustaining what you have created. Sustaining, that is a very big challenge. But if you know what you are doing, as I told you, in the beginning, mistakes are bound to happen. You will learn from your mistakes only, but be vigilant towards learning from that mistake, I would say. You know, incorporate that small thing that you have understood. Okay, ये नहीं करना चाहिए था, या फिर ये कर सकते हैं. So understand that, bring it to the surface, and then continue doing it. So as my guide Lele ma'am always used to say, I had told that in my felicitation as well. She always used to say there is a solution for everything, and secondly is that do new mistakes. Don't repeat the same mistake. So I think that is one way of learning. Do mistakes, because with that only you are going to learn. And when we are bound to do work, there are mistakes bound to happen. Learn from it, incorporate it, and then go ahead with the new challenge. Adopt to it,
Absolutely.
evolve with it, evolve with it. Yes, right now what I have
What a
developed in
positive
myself.
attitude, Prajakta. So many students come to me and they want to start their own business. And after starting this entrepreneur series, there are four students who want to start, but they are like, they are behind. They don't want to start. There is some hesitation that they have, and two of them already started after hearing this, inspiring talk. So really, really, people don't share. But thank you so much to our UAA people who are so good that they want to share everything so that others should not face. So I will take question from Kuldeep ji. I would like to unmute you. You can ask, and friends, those who are here, if you want to send questions for Prajakta, you can send me directly on my message, and I will put it forward, or you can raise your hand so that I can unmute you. But already there are a lot of questions people have already sent Prajakta. So Kuldeep ji, you can ask your question. I have already unmuted you.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes.
I joined the webinar about 10 minutes late, so I kind of missed the initial part. Prajakta, my first question to you is, are you into nutraceuticals or into food? The reason I'm asking that is, you mentioned somewhere that you have applied for a patent. Now,
Yes.
as I understand, food business would typically be more of branding than intellectual property. So
Okay.
why did you think it's necessary to go for a patent? If you could explain that. And does Indian Patent Act actually grant product patents, or only process or design patents? So maybe if you can explain your rationale behind your decision, I would appreciate that.
Very good
Okay.
question. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
so
thank
much.
you, Kuldeepak ji, for your question. Yes, first of all, calling it nutraceutical will be a little bit extra at this stage, because as per you also must be aware, since you are having a knowledge of patent or calling a certain thing or giving it a certain label. requires a lot of background work towards that. So if I'm calling a new product a nutraceutical, I will need to have certain kind of certifications and tests been done. So I won't be able to call it a nutraceutical currently, but yes, it is a health. That is why I'm currently calling it a healthy fat composition out of coconut, like coconut-based healthy fat composition. It is kind of a, I can say in simple language, it is a kind of a cow. Instead of cow ghee, the way we call it cow ghee, it can be called as coconut ghee. The process that I have developed with the help of Ayurveda, my mentors, and the knowledge and the book reading from my side, and also using my own biotechnological knowledge, since I am from biotechnology, fermentation, microbiology is my forte. So, with that knowledge, whatever process I have developed another product which doesn't come exactly under the category of virgin coconut oil or a normal coconut oil. Okay, so in that aspect, that is a reason this is the answer for your first question, like why I went for patenting. So that process is currently not existing. That kind of product is currently not existing in the market. Exact kind of compositions and what all things are there as a composition in it. So that is why that process and product patenting was necessary. Yeah, I will definitely genuinely admit to your concern that does India like support the Indian patent system supports product and process both. So it was a topic of discussion for me also, because I'm not a patent expert. It is my mentor who is a patent expert, and they give me guidance, and then I read through the document, understand a little, but it is never your cup of tea to understand the entire legal language. But yes, I definitely do that, and with that I have understood that we can go for patent related product plus process application. So that's what we have done currently for both. And secondly, also the PCT, if you are aware of it, which allows you to check the potential of your patent forming across the world. So that patent formation PCT filing is also right now there in process. So that is why I had gone for this particular patent process. Basically, when I started working on food products, so I did not want to make a healthy food products will not be cookies and biscuits and wafers out of coconut. I think coconut is much more potential than that. Coconut has that more potential than that. I was very much clear about after my reading of so many books of Ayurveda or other knowledge giving books related to coconut. So I chose this first product. There are other two products which are there in pipeline, but they are also definitely not cookies and oils and those sorts.
Absolutely,
Definitely. Yeah.
Prajakta, because
Yeah.
you are aware that sometimes in India we have so much of tradition. People, even they are not a food technologist or biotechnologist, they have discovered coconut as healing or medicinal food product, and then using this, because we did not protected our processes or our product. In the Western world, there are so many incidences that they have stolen, and they are saying that this we have discovered. We have curcumin as one of the example, basmati
It
rice
is
as
one of the
another
famous
example.
case. It is very
Yeah,
famous
and
case.
our
Curcumin,
our
we are
alumni,
using it from our childhood. I mean,
and then they are claiming that we have discovered. So it's a matter of debate, and one of our alumnus only, he said that yes, he brought back that again to India, Professor Mashelkar. So therefore it is necessary that whatever we have discovered, whatever we have researched, whatever we have been doing it here, we should protect it. So protecting is very important, and that you took as an initiative, project are very, very amazing. So another question is from one of our audience. So she would like to ask that you did PhD, so during that academic skills, did some of those academic skill help you to start this entrepreneurship or start this business? What are those skills that helped you, or is it not necessary to do PhD or build your academic skill and just start your business? What is it?
very nice question. Yeah, thank you for the question. Uh, Definitely, first of all, I will definitely clear it. It's not required to do PhD to start your business. Obviously, it's not required. If you have a right, idea, which is uh, which is actually solving the problem, which can be converted into a business, and you want to go ahead with it, that is a time when you can go ahead. I mean, that's your call from here. That's your call from here. What I will say is what skill has helped me to enter into entrepreneurial journey after doing PhD is, I will say, PhD has given me a very broader viewpoint of looking at the problem from solution point of view. It was one aspect which got developed into me while I was doing PhD. Many a times we always crib about, अरे ये नहीं हो रहा है, वो नहीं हो रहा है, यहाँ पे ये नहीं है, वहां पे वो नहीं है. PhD, that Jugadu, that word was given by Nirali on our felicitation. That Jugadu things that we did, that no, you can find a solution. I'm not calling that word from a negative point of view. It has too much of positive potential in it. That you search options and you try to find a solution for that problem. No, ये problem है, you have to solve it. So that attitude development happened after PhD. Third thing which got developed into me, which I think 100% of PhD people will accept, is patience.
Yeah.
Patience and consistency. Uh, you go through so much of a rough and bad patch when you are doing PhD. And I don't think so anybody would say that they differ the opinion on this part. There is rough patch. You don't get the result. You keep on doing the repetition of the things that you are doing, experiments that you are doing. You don't find the result at some or the other point. You get frustrated. You know, you go to Munna canteen, you drink lot of tea, you again come back, you again do some research. You do lot many things at that time. But I think that consistency, still holding on to that thing, you got developed while doing PhD. So that was one thing which I will give my entire credit to my PhD journey. To my two mentors, Lele ma'am and Savita Kerkar ma'am, the true amazing woman in my life who really shaped a lot part of my life apart from my parents. They shaped a lot of me, in me, from a woman point of
You
view.
absolutely said it, Prajakta. And I have learned so much from Lele ma'am. She's my
Mm.
teacher also, and I spent as a colleague also. I learned so many things from her, and I can see you are like a junior Lele ma'am. You have copied so many things. You are so positive. Your
It's
vibes
a
and
it's a
energy. I can.
compliment to me. It's a compliment to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm sure during that PhD time you have spent that time, you have learned so much, good things from
But
ma'am. And
ma'am, actually, you say that, I would just like to take your minute in it. You don't actually realize that when you are doing PhD.
yes.
That time you have too much of scare inside you. You have too much of burden of she being a mentor, because
Mm,
she is guiding you, and she always tells you 10 different things to do. So that time the aura is different. But when you step onto, coming near PhD, when you are about to complete it, and after that, I will say that, oh, that kind of imprints that she had put into me, and now those reflect. So
absolutely. Very
definitely.
loving person. Like, I always call her like a jackfruit from outside. She's very strict, but whatever strictness she delivers, it's absolutely for, our benefits and our goodness. And we realize that later on. Really amazing, Prajakta. So I have another question from one of the audience. He would like to ask that in uncertain times, or right now also, you must be facing challenges, and it is a part of it. So uncertain times, how do you handle those uncertainties in your business, and how do you overcome that, and that.
Uncertain. This is very relevant question for, I guess, each and every entrepreneur in the early phase of their business. Obviously, in my business also, though I say it is 3 years back journey, but I also had to it was so much up and down, and I had so many health emergencies at my place. I had to take a gap in between. There was a huge gap, so I could not give entire 3 years to my business. Right now, from last few months, it's always it consistent. I had to take a pause, and then I joined again. But the only best part that I did is I never quit. I kept on doing it. I went to the end point where I started, and then I went back there. So yes, I will say, when you say na that stucking part, or when the uncertainty part comes, it is actually every day. It is your everyday job to handle it. Rather than handle it, I will say accept it. Now make it your way of life. The way you make sustainability your way of life, you make uncertainty your way of life. That, things are going to be which are uncertain only. Keep it that way.
Wow.
Accept it that way, and you go ahead with what you can do for that moment and for that day, for that situation. I always used to get this idea from my mentors also, कि ये पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन में अभी तुम्हारे पास जो है उसके साथ तुम क्या बेस्ट कर सकती हो वो देखो. तो
Absolutely.
वो जब निकल जाएगा ना टाइम, then there will be day 2. See, so that is why I have developed my philosophy now on this. See, there is a day 0. If you multiply it by 100, it is still going to remain day 0.
True.
So there
True.
will never be multiplication of it. So let the day 1 come, because after that day 1 there will be day 2. Just
True.
believe, and do lot of breathing. I think even supporting the way you handle it, for that I will say, when you become an entrepreneur, you have to take care of yourself at 3 different levels: your physical health, your mental health, and your spiritual health. All 3 matters, and that really helps you to tackle this problem as well. I think that also plays a huge role in my journey, because I always used to do, some or the other. I was spiritual in that way. I used to listen to Sadhguru, or I was doing Kalavati Ai's Balopasana also when I was kid. Though in between for so many years I didn't do anything. I just do namaskar to God. I never even put diva or something as such. But when this journey started, my meditation journey also, started with it, and that has helped me a lot. I can say today, after a few months of continuous journey, that it makes a huge difference. So when you are an entrepreneur, the way I say, whenever you are applying for any job, you have to develop the relevant capabilities wherever you are going. If you are going for a job in the sports nutrition, you will have to develop those capabilities, nutrition, certification, and everything. In the same way, when you are entering into your entrepreneurial journey, which is a great job, it is a very multitasking job. Your entrepreneurial journey is a multitasking job. So you develop yourself at all these levels. The way you are going to get a knowledge of business, you definitely have to develop yourself at these 3 levels also: physical, mental, and spiritual. That helps. That's
Amazing.
how you tackle. Yeah.
So, Prajakta, you said that you have that, coconut fat based some process as well as product. So, friends, I would like to tell you that coconut fat is one of the magical creation of the god that has a special type of fatty acid. If somebody has a digestion problem, those who cannot absorb the fat present in coconut is a medium chain triglyceride. Recently, doctor has been using that in several, medications, powders. There are a lot of, nutraceutical products that has come, and I'm sure, Prajakta, we would like to hear more, technical part of it. I know that there is a patent you have filed on it, but some insights if you can throw to us, what is that product and what health benefits it can give, and if we want to buy, how can we go ahead, all the products. Look, suppose, I saw in your presentation there are so many beautiful handicrafts you put it on your slides. They were real pictures. So if we want to, buy those gifts as a gift, we organize so many conferences or, workshops. So if we want to give it as a, so how we can go ahead with you and help ourselves to go ahead with this.
It would be great. I mean, obviously, you are giving me a selling opportunity. That's the best thing an entrepreneur can get. So, yes, definitely. About 2 things which you asked. One is about the knowing little bit about fatty acid composition. As I told you, it is mostly based on the Ayurveda knowledge, or I can say the ancient proficiency, what it calls coconut as. So that is why the process was developed also in that way. Though we are taking the traditional methods only and traditional knowledge only, adding it a little bit of biotechnology and microbiology in that aspect. Okay, so when I developed it, it was mostly from modifying the process, because in Ayurveda, for example, I will say whatever process you do, it is normally called as sanskar, and that gives you the end product. So if you are taking only curd, like if you are taking milk, you are adding microorganism probiotics to it, then what gets converted is called as curd. If you are adding water to it, you are doing churning process, then what comes out is a buttermilk. So whatever the sanskar you give, that process you give, that has its own significance. In the same way, I have concentrated more on the since I love microbes, so I concentrated on microbes, and I concentrated on the process. So with that, whatever product you are getting, it is in the middle line of the virgin coconut oil or a ghee kind of a thing. It is full of medium chain triglycerides, MCTs, which is a major energy source as far as the oil is concerned. Okay, normally we do not go for plant-based oils is because they have too many saturated fatty acids, or we consider it to be very not good for health. But when medium chain triglycerides, the MCTs, short form, are more, then those will directly become the energy source for your products. Second, for your body metabolism. Secondly, when the product has its major source of that, my product also has MUFA and PUFA in the good composition, which will help the digestion of the food material that we are taking in.
Mm.
Third is those people who wants to reduce on their fat content, because anyhow, whatever we say good about everything, oil is still oil. Your
Yes.
portion of that should be very limited, but
Very
you should, at the same time, the equal important fact is you should never avoid 100% oil. You
true.
need oil for your body process. There are so many vitamins which get dissolved only in oil. Your bloodstream, I mean, all those micronutrients are going to work well if you have certain amount and good quantity of good fats in your body. So
True.
that
True.
is why you need those fats in your body to work and give you the health point of view. So that is why if you have this, if the people are health cautious, they want to use very minimal amount of product, and like nutritionist or the somebody who is on keto diet, or somebody who wants to cut down their portion and just want to have 1 or 2 spoonful of oil every day, the way we have cow ghee, or just so for cooking also you can use it. And even as having that like spoonful for your daily diet, you can add it to coffee, or sometimes, because nowadays it's a trend that people add it to your black coffee, 1 spoon of cow ghee and all. So that you can add it to your parathas, chapatis, or something like that. So that way you can consume it. How you can buy it? That yes, within a month period of time, I'm the way I told you, I'm giving it a free sample for 50 to 100 customers of mine, and then with that I will collect the feedback, and I will design the wholesome um, way of selling it. So they are going to be available in the packet size of 250 grams, 500 grams, mostly 250 grams, because it's going to be required in very small quantity. Okay, so that way we can buy it from my website also, which is under process, and from me directly contact me.
Yes. Yes.
For
Absolutely.
handicrafts, for
Yes.
handicrafts also, ma'am, the same thing. If there is any, right now, I am not putting it onto my website, which is newly getting constructed, because I will not be able to pay 100% attention. So only my B2B business is ongoing. Those who are already in my connection, those have any like in industries also and in corporate also, there are orders for the gifting purpose and all. So for
Wow.
gifting purpose, people directly contact me and I DM them on WhatsApp. They pay and then I deliver them the material. So
They
in the
are
same way,
so
if you will order,
beautifully
I
crafted.
will give.
So
I will
be
come
it,
with few of the products to show you physically also.
wow,
Yeah.
flower pot, or I saw so many others,
Yes.
beautiful.
There are.
So there is one absolute, question from one female, and she would like to ask how much time one has to give. You are a female and you are, doing such a great business. So how much time generally in a day you have to dedicate to bring this, successful output?
Um, I think the answer will vary for each and every person and for each and every business. But on an average, if I will say you want to establish your business, give as much time as possible, first of all. Secondly, take it as your office job. If not 9 to 5, take it, if minimum, this is what I'm telling, minimum. But we being women and we have the kind of responsibilities on our shoulder, you have to restrict it to some time. Otherwise, you can do it from morning till night and it should be in your blood every time. That's true. Okay. But take it as I take it as a 9 to 5 job. My working hours should be minimum 8. My working hours should be minimum 8 is my try always. Because otherwise, that is important for your different segments. Like when you have to develop a plan, somewhere you will have to increase your knowledge, somewhere you will have to execute and deliver the material, right? And somewhere you will have to coordinate and networking. So marketing and networking. So there are so many segments in which you will have to work. If you want to give a justice to your work, minimum time which is required is definitely 8, 9 hours, 7, 8, 9 hours at least. Yes.
What a dedication, Prajakta. We have been talking already. It's 12:22. So much. I feel like, just talking to you and, learning so much from you.
That's why
carry so
I
much.
shifted to now full time, because I knew after job I won't be able to do it. I was not able to give justice. So from a full time corporate employee to a full time entrepreneur. Yes.
Absolutely, you carry so many good positive vibes and so much energy, really. And I am sure the credit goes to the magic wonder of the god that is coconut. So, one last question, and friends, we are going to close. But yes, Prajakta will be available on email. We will be posting this video on YouTube. Please share to your friends, those who want to start the business but they are now hesitated. I'm sure after hearing you, Prajakta, I myself got so much inspired. So one last question: what legacy do you want to create through your work, and where do you want to see you after 10 years from now?
Um, Legacy, oh my God, that's a very big word, I would say. I think I would just like to do my job which gives me happiness inside and gives meaning to my life as per my definition. So I would just love to do that job to the and give my 100%. That's always was my thing, my principles towards working anything, कि आप अपना 100% दो. तो अगर आपका कभी वो वर्क भी नहीं करता है, मतलब एग्जाम में भी दिस वाज माय वे ऑफ वर्किंग, कि यू गिव योर 100%. इफ दैट डजंट वर्क, तो यू विल नॉट हैव द रिग्रेट ऑफ यू नॉट ट्राइंग. So
Okay.
that is another thing, you not trying. But for the work that I say about the business, if I will say, you should always be 100% positive about what you are doing. You should have 100% faith in what you are working upon. Have the good intention. Your intention really matters. What is here? So I know why I am doing this. So my why is there. My intention is there. When I see myself 10 years down the line, this my I think I never saw think when you said that, this line came to my mind. Help coconut, help us was my tagline first year back. So if I would be able to give a justice to ourselves so that we can take good benefits of coconut and we can spread it across society to understand the best out of it and get the best benefit out of it and create that ecosystem, then I would love to do that
Such a
for
pure,
us.
such a
Yeah.
pure and such a honest, answer, Prajakta. I have interviewed even big people, like including Nobel laureates, and I just, went back to that time. I realized, oh, the greatest quality of the biggest people, the successful people, is, they help nature and the nature help them. So absolutely, thank you so much, Prajakta. You spent so much time with us, shared everything from, small incidences and example, and this was one of the most inspiring session. in our series.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to you for your time, and thank you audiences for taking out time despite of this being a Saturday. Such a wonderful session, and we would like to collaborate with you, work with you in future also, and we would like to definitely come to ICT, teach our student, inspire them so that they become
Definitely, definitely, ma'am.
entrepreneurs.
Yes,
Thank you so
anytime,
much.
anytime. Coming back to alma mater is always so much energizing for us. I entered into ICT, then I feel so positive. So, yes, definitely, I would like to come and meet you and the students personally. Definitely let me know anytime. Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you, everyone. Have a
was
wonderful day and stay connected with us to hear such amazing and inspiring stories every Saturday, 11 a.m. on Zoom. Thank you so much, Prajakta, and thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
bye,
Have a
everyone.
wonderful
Be
weekend.
blessed. Take care. Yeah, bye bye. Bye, ma'am.